Hi, this is Daryl Meyer from Keller, Texas. Today is Friday, March 26th, 2010. What a week. We've seen a lot of things happen this week. Listen, I want to continue talking about Israel because, we know in Zechariah 2:8 that God calls Israel the apple of his eye. And I think if it's that important to God, then it needs to be that important to us. Whether you believe that the Israel of today is the one spoken of in the Bible or not, we know that Israel is pretty much the barometer to tell us how things are going here on earth. And, when Jesus comes back, he will appear at the Mount of Olives. In Acts 1, it tells us the angel said, hey, the same Jesus you saw ascend into heaven will return just the way you saw him. And he will return on the Mount of Olives, and it will split in two at that point. So, very important piece of geographical territory, the land of Israel. So that's why I report on it so much. Let's get right to it. This is out of yahoo.com. Defiant Netanyahu vows no change on Jerusalem. Israel vowed that policy on Jerusalem would not change as Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu discussed with his security cabinet on Friday U.S. demands for peace-promoting concessions. And even as the meeting was underway, violence broke out on the border with the Hamas-run Gaza Strip. So Netanyahu has said, you know what? No, we're not giving in to U.S. demands, and the Palestinian Authority putting these pre-negotiating conditions upon them. They're saying, you know what? No. Kudos to Mr. Netanyahu. Here's a story out of timesonline.co.uk. It says Benjamin Netanyahu was humiliated after Barack Obama dumped him for dinner. So what happened was, and my computer has froze. Anyway, what happened was they were meeting. Obama said, you know what? I'm done. Let me know if anything new develops. I'm going to go in this other wing and eat dinner with my family. Netanyahu's like, okay, kind of weird. He was seriously humiliated by our president. Here's a story out of yahoo.com that says Israel could use tactical nukes on Iran. Gosh, what's my computer doing? Forgive me, guys. Computer glitches. Deeply concerned as it is by the risk of a nuclear-armed Iran, Israel has never even hinted at using atomic weapons to forestall the perceived threat. But now, a respected Washington think tank has said that low radioactive yield tactical nuclear warheads would be one way for the Israelis to destroy uranium-enriched plants in remote, dug-in fortifications. That was a tough sentence to read. So, here's a thought that maybe some tactical nukes might be better to take them out. And, since the United States has delayed the delivery of these bunker buster bombs, here's an alternative plan. So, let's see what happens with that. Here's a story out of Reuters.com. Iran says Muslims must act over Jerusalem. Iran attacked Israel's settlement plans in occupied East Jerusalem today, saying Muslims around the world need to take action. Okay, I just have to say this. I think the war between Christianity and Muslim has been going on since Ishmael and Isaac were born to Abraham back in the Old Testament. And it's the classic good versus evil. You're not going to hear that from politicians. You're not going to hear that from anyone holding an office. You're not going to hear that from anyone on television, most likely. But that's what it is, people. The Muslims believe that the Bible's been corrupted. Here's why they believe that. Because it doesn't bode well for them. Okay? They think that Abraham nearly sacrificed Ishmael on the Temple Mount, not Isaac, his true son, born of his wife. Ishmael was a bastard child born of a slave, and basically Abraham and Sarah kicked them out of the house, And, God blessed them and said, hey, I'll make you into a great nation. And he did. The Arab nation, the Muslims, they came from the descendants of Ishmael. Okay, Isaac, though, is the inheritance of the promise. And most Muslims don't believe that. They also don't believe Jesus ever died on the cross. They don't believe Jesus is the Son of God. Okay, so they are denying Jesus Christ. Therefore, they're denying the one true God. So, in actuality, the Muslims are at war with Christians. That's the basis of it. And truly, it is good versus evil. Because, I'm sorry, but the Muslim religion is of Satan himself. I said it. I stand on that. And I will take that with me to the grave because I truly believe it. They go against everything that God of the Bible talks about. They turn their backs to Jerusalem 5 times a day when they pray. They face Mecca, turning their backs to Jerusalem. Okay? So they turn their backs on God because Jerusalem is God's land, God's people. And they first started out praying toward Jerusalem. Okay? But then they decided, you know what? We're going to pray toward Mecca, thereby turning their backs on God. Okay, so that's what this all comes down to. I've got some scriptures I want to get to, so I need to hurry through here. Anyway, I'm going to skip this story. Okay, let's see. Tens of thousands protests Israel in Syria. In Damascus, tens of thousands have gathered in Damascus in a march of anger against Israeli settlements in East Jerusalem. Guess what? Isaiah 17:1. Damascus will be utterly destroyed and will be a ruinous heap. Keep an eye on that, because it will happen. It's in the Bible. It will happen. Here's something out of Yahoo.com. North Korea threatens nuclear strikes on South Korea and the U.S. That Kim Jong-il, he's at it again. That guy's a nut job. Anyway, how about this? Out of NewYorkTimes.com. Social Security to see payout exceed pay-in this year. Hey, this is our same government that wants to run your health care. They are going broke in Social Security. They've run Medicaid into the ground. They've run a lot of things into the ground, and now they want to control us, control our bank accounts, control our health care. Good idea? Here's a story I just love. This is out of weaselzippers.net. I've never used this site. Oklahoma House advances legislation banning Sharia law. Okay, so Oklahoma passed this law saying, we are only going to follow the laws of this country in this state. No other law applies, and we shall not consider international law or Sharia law in this courthouse. Yay, Oklahoma! You go, guys. Every other state needs to follow suit. We will not give in to Sharia law. We don't follow that. We don't practice it. That's of some other place. Okay. Quite a week. Listen, let's get into the Word. Let me go to Zechariah 8, verses 7 and 8. This is what the Lord Almighty says. I will save my people from the countries of the east and the west. I will bring them back to live in Jerusalem. They will be my people, and I will be faithful and righteous to them as their God. Let me jump over to Luke. Luke 6, verse 27. Luke 6, verse 27. Verse 27, 28, and 31. 27 says, and this is Jesus talking, but I tell you who hear me, love your enemies. Do good to those who hate you. Bless those who curse you, and pray for those who mistreat you. Let's go to 31. Do to others as you would have them do to you. We've all heard the golden rule. Most people don't realize it comes straight from the Bible. Let's go now to Luke 12, verse 22 through 26. You know what? I'm not going to be able to read this all. It's basically Jesus saying, don't worry about your life or what you're going to eat. Life is more than food. God feeds the birds. He's going to take care of you because you're way more valuable than the birds. And don't worry about eating. Even the pagans seek this. God knows what you need, and He will provide. Keep that close to your heart. Let's see. Let me go to Isaiah 61, verse 1 and 2. This is something I feel very strong for me. The Spirit of the Sovereign Lord is on me, because the Lord has anointed me to preach good news to the poor. He has sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim freedom for the captives, and release from darkness for the prisoners. Jesus spoke this in Luke 4, verse 7, and he said, today in your presence this has come to pass. And everybody was like, wow, I feel the same. God wants us to tell everyone about the good news of Jesus Christ. Okay, let me go to Psalm 86, verses 10 through 12. For you are great and do marvelous deeds. You alone are God. Teach me your way, O Lord, and I will walk in your truth. Give me an undivided heart, that I may fear your name. I will praise you, O Lord my God. With all my heart, I will glorify your name forever. That is what we must do. We must reach out and save the lost and strengthen the saved. God bless you guys. Have a great weekend. Good Lord willing, I'll see you again on Monday.